Hello and welcome to the weekend edition of Up South, where we get you what was making news in South India during the week and the special stories put out by a team of reporters. The collapse of an under-construction building in Chennai on Saturday, in which 61 people who were working on the site were killed, left the country shocked. The builder was quick to blame the elements for the tragedy. Headlines today investigation revealed that not everything was hunky-dory about the manner in which the building was being constructed, and why Chennai, like many other cities in India, isn't exactly a safe city.
Preliminary investigations have revealed a number of factors that may have contributed to the collapse of this particular building. And the foundation that was dug up for the construction of these stills and the rafts slabs were not strong enough. This is what the experts said when they were digging out the rubble. See, this is the soil that's, where the building has been built upon, which according to the experts and the reports say that it is not fit for building a 11-storied residential complex.
On Saturday evening, when the heavens opened to pound heavy rainfall on Chennai, it took less than a minute for this 11-storied under-construction building on the outskirts of the city to convert into 8,000 metric tons of rubble. The builders were quick to blame the elements, claiming that a cloudburst, which is capable of increasing the temperature from 30 to 20,000 degrees Celsius, had brought down the structure. However, Tamil Nadu Chief Minister Jayalalitha was not buying the excuse.
It appears that the building plans that were approved were not strictly adhered to by the builders. There was nothing wrong with the plans that were submitted for approval, but the builders knowingly committed many violations and did not adhere to the plans that were approved.
But this may not be the only building in Chennai that could come down crumbling like a pack of cards, especially those whose foundations are not on firm ground, literally. In this particular case, Prime Shrishti had started the ambitious 12+1 storied building in a low-lying area like Mohalivakkam, which was once a lake area. The sand is loose, making the foundation weak. The nearby buildings were not high-rise like this one.
The place in which they are built is unfit for a multi-story building, that means 11-story building. Number two, it does not have enough road width to justify a 11-story building, which is quite high. Number three, they have manipulated the FSI norms, set forward norms in order to give a bigger building on 1 acre of land.
In 2006, a monitoring committee in which Deva Sahayam is a member was formed to check on the illegal constructions in the city. But the committee got no cooperation from the government. With Chennai, Kanchipuram and Chengalpet areas witnessing a construction boom, developers are only tempted to cut corners.
Attitude I find is people want to buy, can I get lower than this price? Can I get a lower price? Can I get a lower price? So there is an urgency for them to pull the prices down. It's natural. But what happens, even in government contracts, yes, you follow the lowest tender, but then there is a technical bid and then a price bid. So the quality is segregated. Only among the quality you must be able to price. So when the price is at a low point, people should now ask this question: how is it possible to give at that price?
There are 12,700 builders in Tamil Nadu. According to an estimate, there are violations in at least 14,000 buildings in Chennai. On a multi-storied building, PWD fire officials should regularly monitor. It is hardly done. Since most of the quarries are shut, it's the sand mafia which controls the sand production. Many builders use M-sand, which is of low quality and cannot bind the sand together for a long time. Similarly, to save money, builders use fly ash. Both fly ash and M-sand can be used, but in a proper quantity. In some areas like OMR on outskirts of Chennai, there is no sewage connection and electricity board connection.
What the building collapse on Saturday has exposed that many of these castles are perhaps being built in air. For all those who worked on the site as well as those who invested in it, it has been anything but a home sweet home. Priyambada in Chennai for Headlines Today.
The 3-week ordeal that the 46 Indian nurses, most of them from Kerala, suffered in the war zone in Iraq is finally over. Held hostage by the ISIS militants, they were set free thanks to back-channel diplomacy by the Ministry of External Affairs. They landed in Kochi on Saturday afternoon. Rohini Swami sent us this report from Kochi and Kottayam.
Nightmare in Iraq, but now plain relief. A special Air India flight with 137 people on board, including the 46 nurses freed by insurgents in Iraq, arrived in Kochi at noon.
This is a great relief to not only to me, to all of us, all the people of Kerala. But I am thankful to everybody, those who are involved in this, especially Sushma Swaraj, the Union Minister for External Affairs.
The aggressive diplomatic push eventually paid off.
Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister Chandrababu Naidu is finding it difficult to keep his promise to waive off farm loans worth 54,000 crore rupees, with the RBI, the bankers, the industry, even the judiciary frowning upon it. But if he does not manage to do so, he will have to pay a political price for it.
Don't go by the smiles that these bankers flashed in Chandrababu Naidu's company. Because once the bouquets were handed over, the Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister had brickbats coming his way, with the bankers telling him that his idea to waive off farm loans was a terrible one that needed to be junked.
Naidu has been insisting on waiving off farm loans worth 54,000 crore rupees, and the bankers in the meantime are gaping at their balance sheets, which does not look so good. The Reserve Bank of India has already conveyed its displeasure on paper.
In a letter to the Chief Secretary of Andhra Pradesh, the RBI said, the RBI does not support the farm loan waiver scheme as it would hurt the financial health of the banks while destroying the repayment system.
Any debt waiver is against the credit culture. It creates moral hazard. It is a kind of temptation for people not to repay in time. That is why in general we oppose it.
The Hyderabad High Court also said that the state government does not have the power to waive off loans that the farmers took from banks. The industry too is not happy with a huge dole being handed out to farmers at a time when corporate players are also looking to the cash-strapped government to give them incentives.
It will create bad financial management. You cannot afford, because already we are shortage of funds because Hyderabad revenue has not been shared to us. And where are the other resources? Again, it has to start from industry, software, all these things development. So taking burden of agricultural waiver, it is definitely burden and it should be stopped. And that is why we are suggesting to the government, you cannot keep on giving this type of waiver.
The politically powerful farm lobby that voted in Naidu, believing he has turned a new leaf, does not want him to succumb to pressure from the industrialists who would prefer him to be the CEO of AP Incorporated.
They have been enjoying all privileges for the last 50 years and they have a tendency to find fault with farmers. These people are one of the greatest betrayers of Indian farming community. They do not even though look at agro-based industries, agri-processing industries, all general industries, their growth has been 8 to 10%. Now, whereas we, agriculture, our growth is not even 1%.
As Chamber of Commerce see, we don't see. We are politicians, we are committed to our people. We are seeing in the interest of the public. We are seeing in the interest of the farmers. So in the interest of the farmers, it's a good project.
But with confusion over whether farm loans will or will not be waived, the banks are not lending and the farmers are not borrowing this Kharif season.
Right now, nobody is coming to the bank. Nobody is coming to the bank. In fact, why people are now waiting for a clear-cut government announcement on the fate of their earlier loan. So because of nobody is coming to the bank for dealing with the banker. That is the reason. I had gone to the field, I have visited some of the branches, I have seen. Nobody is visiting the branches or...
Another headache for the farmers in Andhra Pradesh is that a delayed monsoon has meant sowing for the paddy crop this Kharif season has been delayed. But it is the same elements of nature that Naidu is banking on. By declaring 460 mandals as cyclone hit and another 110 as drought hit, Naidu can hope to delay the repayment by at least 2 years, thereby keeping some bit of his promise. In Hyderabad with Pratibha Raman, T.S. Sudhir for Headlines Today. Now, haven't we seen and heard politicians behaving in a high-handed manner? Now, this Congress MLA in Karnataka believes that the law isn't for people like him and decided to ignore the 11:30 p.m. deadline at a swanky pub in Bangalore. And when two policemen tried to videograph his offence, his men gave them the treatment. Ratnika Sharma reports on the despicable behaviour by one of the men the people of Karnataka have elected to the state legislature.
It was here that the MLA's wife had thrown a birthday bash for him. But the party went much beyond permitted hours, with waiters being forced to serve the guests. When two Cubbon Park constables landed and began videographing the incident, they were first interrupted, then abused, and then bashed up by the MLA and his supporters.
He was taking the video or photograph, I don't know what it was, through his mobile. Then someone came and tried to snatch away his mobile. He alerted their superiors, but by the time the inspector and ASI reached the spot, the other people had left the place. So based on the complaint given by the constable, a case has been registered.
Headlines Today has accessed the FIR copy, and the MLA and his supporters have been booked for unlawful assembly, voluntarily causing hurt, assault to deter public servant, and intentional insult to provoke. But the MLA is playing the victim.
ಹೋದಂಥ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಊಟವನ್ನು ಮುಗಿಸಿ ಇನ್ನೇನು ಹೊರಡಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋಷ್ಟರಲ್ಲೇ ಕೆಲವಷ್ಟು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸುಮಾರು ಜನ ಇದ್ದರು. ಆ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಪೊಲೀಸ್ನವ್ರು ಬಂದು ಒಳಗಡೆ ಬಂದು ಹೋಟೆಲ್ನ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಬಂದು ಮೊಬೈಲ್ ಕ್ಯಾಮೆರಾದಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಫೋಟೋವನ್ನು ಹಿಡಿಯ.
As leader of opposition mounted a strong attack, the state government looked for cover.
Any omission or commission is there. If it is against the law, law will take its own course.
So many incidents happen last 1 year, especially the ruling party Congress MLAs quarrel between the police regularly. The 3 incidents already happened in the Karnataka.
But even a day after the incident, neither Gowda nor the MLA have been arrested. While Gowda is absconding, the MLA enjoys immunity and cannot be rounded up without the Speaker's permission. The cops have sought the same. But as the powerful abuse their position and break the law, the cops, helpless before their political masters, are just left fiddling their thumbs, even when they themselves are the victims.
A fun-filled birthday party turned out to be a nasty affair. It's been more than 36 hours and Congress MLA Kashyap Panwar and his friends have still not been arrested. While the opposition is demanding strict and immediate action, both Home Minister and Chief Minister, almost like turning a blind eye, say that it's for the law to take its own course and for the police to do their investigation. With camera person Shivmurthy, Ratnika Sharma in Bangalore for Headlines Today.
Time for a break on the weekend edition of Up South. After the break, why 15,000 students in Hyderabad find themselves out of school. Now, in a shocking case of medical negligence, a pair of surgical scissors was found in the abdomen of a woman in Mangalore in Karnataka 4 years after she was operated upon. This after suffering from acute pain ever since her surgery in 2010. An X-ray finally revealed the foreign element.
Hafsa Rahim is recovering from a surgery she should not have needed in the first place. This one that she underwent on Monday was not to cure any part of her body, but to remove a pair of surgical scissors that was left behind in her abdomen the last time she was operated upon in 2010. Then she had undergone a surgery for a fibroid in her abdomen at a nursing home in Mangalore. Subsequently, she constantly complained of stomachache and skin rashes. With painkillers proving to be of no help, an X-ray finally revealed the shocking reason.
ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಪೂರ್ಣಿಮಾ ನಾಯರ್ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು. ನಾವು ಫೋನ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಹೇಳಿದೆ, ನನಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಡೆಯಿಂದ ಮದ್ದು ಮಾಡಿ ಆಯಿತು ಮೇಡಮ್, ಇದು ಗುಣ ಆಗುದಿಲ್ಲ, ಏನು ಮಾಡುದು ಅಂತ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ಕಿನ್ನಿನ ಡಾಕ್ಟ್ರಿಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು ಅವರು. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾನು ಹೇಳಿದೆ, ಸ್ಕಿನ್ನಿನ ಡಾಕ್ಟ್ರು ತೋರಿಸಿ ಎಲ್ಲದಕ್ಕೆ ತೋರಿಸಿ ಆಯ್ತು, ಅದು ಗುಣ ಆಗುದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ. ಅದು ಲಾಸ್ಟಿಗೆ ಕಲ್ಪನಾ ಶ್ರೀಧರಿಗೆ ಹೋದೆ ನಾವು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅಂತ. ಅವರು ಸ್ಕ್ಯಾನಿಂಗ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಹೇಳಿದರು. ಸ್ಕ್ಯಾನಿಂಗ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡಿ ಎಕ್ಸ್ರೇ ಎಲ್ಲ ತೆಗುವಾಗ ಹೇಳಿದರು, ಎಕ್ಸ್ರೇ ಅವರು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಹೊಟ್ಟೆ ಒಳಗೆ ಕತ್ತರಿ ಉಂಟು, ಯಾರು ಆಪರೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿದಂತ.
Armed with the X-ray report, the 31-year-old met Dr. Purnima Nair to get the scissors out of her body.
ಬೇಜಾರು ಅವರಿಗೆ ಉಂಟು, ಅಷ್ಟೇ ನಮಗೆ ಸಹ ಇದೆ. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ನಿಗಾರಣೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಆಗಿದೆ ಹೇಳುವಾಗ ನಮಗೆ ಸಹ ತುಂಬಾ ಬೇಜಾರಾಗ್ತದೆ. ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಜವಾಬ್ದಾರಿ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಕೊಡುವುದಲ್ಲ, ಅದನ್ನು ಹೇಗೆ ಇನ್ನು ಸುಧಾರಿಸಬೇಕಂತ ನೋಡಬೇಕಷ್ಟೇ.
Doctors, however, point out that Hafsa had been operated upon once before she came to their nursing home. The obvious hint is that the first surgeon must have left his scissors behind.
ಪಾಸಿಬಲ್ ದಟ್ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಹಾಕಿದ ಗಾಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬಾಕಿ ಉಳಿದು ಸೈಡಲ್ಲಿ ಉಳಿದಿರಬಹುದು, ಒಂದು ಪಾಸಿಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ಏನಿದ್ರು ಅದು ಓಪನ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಆದ ಮೇಲೆ ನೋಡ್ಬೇಕಾಗ್ತದೆ ಎಲ್ಲಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ. ಈಗ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಆಗಿದೆ, ಪೇಷಂಟಿಗೆ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಆಗಿದೆ, ಯಾರಿಂದ ತಪ್ಪಾಗಿದೆ ಅದನ್ನು ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಅ ಟೀಮ್ ಎಫರ್ಟ್. ಯಾವ ಸರ್ಜರಿ ಆದ್ರೂ ಒಬ್ಬರಿಗೆ ಹೊಣೆಗಾರ ಅಂತ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗುದಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಒಬ್ಬರ ಮಾಡಿದ ಭರವಸೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಅದನ್ನು ಓಕೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿಕೊಂಡು ಪೇಷಂಟ್ ಸರ್ಜರಿ ಮುಗ್ದ ಮೇಲೆ ಬಂದ್ ಮಾಡೋದು. ಈಗ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಪೇಷಂಟಿಗೆ ಆಗಿದೆ, ಅದು ಬೇಜಾರದ ವಿಷಯ.
Hafsa's family will approach the Consumer Court for compensation now. Meanwhile, a case has been registered against the two doctors at the nursing home. With Ratnika Sharma in Bangalore, Bureau Report, Headlines Today.
The new academic session has just begun, but 15,000 students in 118 schools in Hyderabad find themselves out of the classroom for no fault of theirs, because their schools have been declared as unrecognized and illegal. Pratibha Raman reports on the thriving education bazaar, where gullible parents are taken for a ride.
Sneha, a homemaker who recently moved into Vijayanagar colony in Hyderabad, was happy she found a school in her immediate neighborhood for her 3-year-old daughter. But just 10 days into the academic session, she was told the school is shut because it is not recognized. The school has students from play school till class 5.
आपको क्या रीज़न बताया?
वही वो डी ऑफिस से परमिशन ले रही थे।
अच्छा।
क्लोज्ड वो इशू वजह से क्लोज हो गया। विचार करने पर अनन्य अलंकार का
With 118 schools in Hyderabad identified as unrecognized by the district administration, 15,000 students find themselves out of school.
So we have established last year this branch. So it will take, madam, 1 year, 1.5 year time. It will take to complete the process. So those branches which are unrecognized, they have sealed it. They are closed.
The administration had in December 2013 identified 400 out of 2,000 odd schools in the city as unrecognized, a shocking 1 in every 5 schools. But the notices had the desired effect, and some corrective measures were put in place by March. 118 schools that have ignored the directive have now been shut down.
As per government guidelines, any school must make sure there is enough space for classrooms, make sure they maintain the correct student-teacher ratio, make sure there is a playground as well as trained teachers, ensure children's security as well as fire safety. But many of these schools are run in narrow lanes, in small shelters, where the rule book is often flouted at will. And parents get carried by fancy-sounding names for schools without realizing that recognition is necessary for any school that teaches from class 1.
Anybody has to start school right from LKG also. They have to take permission under the relevant act. So we have AP Educational Institution Act. So everybody has to take permission, then only they can start an educational institution.
प्लेग्राउंड ऐसा कुछ नहीं है नहीं?
ऊपर है, पूरा सेट के ऊपर है।
आज बंद है क्यों?
हम बोले ना अभी गवर्नमेंट वाले ऐसे डालते हैं। सैटरडे आए, सैटरडे आके तो क्या कुछ फाइन गिन नहीं बना है, इसके लिए ताला डाल के आया।
This school has been in existence for the last 10 years in this 3-bedroom house and continues to function despite a notice issued to it. Another school in the sealed list claims it is an international school and will conform only to international standards, not Hyderabad standards.
And ours is an international school. We are affiliated to Excel Board London. We have nothing to do with our state.
Last month, Education Department officials in Vijayawada staged demonstrations outside unrecognized schools in a bid to caution parents against admitting their children in such schools. While the clean-up drive is commendable, the authorities would have done the parents and the children a favour if they had been given a chance to shift to a legal school. With Pratibha Raman in Hyderabad, Ruchira Sharma, Headlines Today.